What is up, guys? Name's Ren. Welcome to another Honkai Star video on my channel. So today we're talking about Silverwolf since she is finally out, patch 1.1 released, and today we can go over all the skills and the numbers of Silverwolf. But before we hop into the topic of today's video, I just want to point you guys again to my YouTube short section, which is the content that I'm currently mainly focusing on. I try to put out a video every 2 days at least, if not every day. So yeah, if you enjoy the content, whether it be the normal videos or the YouTube short videos, definitely subscribe to the channel. I would highly appreciate any support here. I'm also planning to do a giveaway as soon as patch 1.2 launches. That should be the release of Kafka and Blade. So if you want to be in there, definitely subscribe to the channel. So as soon as we hit the 1000 mark, if it is possible that we hit the 1000 mark until patch 1.2 releases, I'll do the giveaway live on stream. I already did that with Genshin Impact, where we want to give away one battle pass and one, how's it called in this game? Yeah, the express supply pass. So yeah, I will give away those kind of things live on stream. Yeah. Okay, without that out of the way, let's go into the video. Let's talk about Silverwolf. So this is as of other videos I already mentioned, this is pridevent.gg, a very good site if you want to get any information. Also, you can use this site to get like DPS rankings, character builders, team builders. So the site is very good for information. I will put the link in the description down below. Alright, Silverwolf is out. Finally, I can talk about her numbers. I was waiting for this because I'm still debating whether I want to summon for her or not. So if you're still struggling, let's go over this together, and then you maybe have a better clue. So yeah, let's talk about start with the basic attack. I think this is nothing too special. It is 50, 100, 110%. So I will always go for the highest number, because probably if you pull for her and you planning to play the game for a longer period of time, you will always get like the end game stat. I will only let out the Eidolons, since we're talking from a free-to-play perspective, since I am also free-to-play in this game. Now, she does 110% and scaling up of her attack to a single enemy. Nothing too crazy. It is quantum damage. She's a quantum character. Now, let's talk about her skill, which is one of the most important things of her kit. There is a 87% base chance to add one weakness of an on-field allies type to the target enemy. This also reduces the enemy's damage resistance to that weakness type by 20% for 2 turns, and if the enemy already has that type weakness, the effect of damage resistance reduction to that weakness type will not be triggered. Each enemy can only have one weakness implanted by Silverwolf, and when Silverwolf implants another weakness to the target, only the most recent implanted weakness will be kept. So now let's explain this real quick. So she basically has this chance, which is not the base chance, because we also have to include the effect hit rate. I don't want to go over this in this video because then it would be like too complicated, but just the basic explanation. The enemy has effect resistance and you have an effect hit rate, and this determines if the enemy gets the debuff or not. And also, after that, also this chance will be counted into that. Alright, so without that of the way, Silverwolf basically can add a weakness. I think this is the most important thing on this character. This is the thing that makes people summoning for the character if they don't already like the character, though. Now, as we know right now, it is very safe to say that Silverwolf has a fair chance of adding in the weakness of an on-field allies type with a fair percentage. So for example, if you have 2 quantum characters, one ice and one fire character, then there is a 50% chance that the quantum element is applied if the enemy doesn't have that weakness, or it is a 25% chance for ice or 25% chance for fire, as long as the enemy doesn't have that weakness already. So if the enemy already has the weakness, then it won't be applied again. So yeah, that is very important to notice. The next thing, as we are adding on the weakness type, we also get a damage shred, or it's not a defense shred, but we get yeah, kind of a buff. So let me explain it. So you basically reduce the damage resistance of the enemy. So this is always one of the most valuable things that you can get, because damage buffs and damage resistance are kind of the same. So if you get a damage buff, this is very good. If you can reduce the damage resistance, you will also do more damage, and this by 20% for 2 turns, but only to the weakness type that is applied through Silverwolf's skill. So if you do weakness break or attack with another weakness, then this is not applied. So for example, you use the skill and you apply the quantum weakness, and then you attack with an ice character. If the enemy also has ice as a weakness, then there the 20% damage resistance shred won't be applied to the ice character, but it will be applied to a quantum character that attacks, because we're applied quantum as the weakness. So yeah, if the enemy, so I think basically this is the explanation for that. Then the next important thing, each enemy can only have one weakness implanted by Silverwolf. So if your team, as I already said, has 2 quantum, 1 ice and 1 fire character, then and we apply quantum to the enemy, then we cannot apply fire as an additional element to the weakness. So we only can have 1 at a time to the enemy. This is also a very important thing, but I think this is still very good though. Yeah, when Silverwolf implants another weakness to the target, only the most recent implanted weakness will be kept. So correct me if I'm wrong on this, but as I'm understanding, this is if we already applied quantum and we use her skill on the next turn again, because it will expire after 2 turns, but let's say we use her E, and then in the next turn we use her E immediately again on the same opponent, then we will just keep that same buff, the quantum weakness, for 2 more turns. So basically we do extend it for 1 more turn as we're using this skill again. That's at least how I am understanding. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is how this works. So when Silverwolf implants another weakness to the target, only the most recent implanted weakness will be kept. Only the most recent implanted weakness will be kept. Yeah. So basically, if we have quantum already, we can extend quantum for 1 more turn if we use the skill, as long as quantum is still the weakness that is applied on that enemy. Yeah, that is how it should work. So as I said, correct me if I'm wrong on that. In addition, there's a 100% base chance to reduce the all-type resistance of the enemy further by 10% for 2 turns, and the skill also deals quantum damage. So I think this is the least important thing that we want to talk about, because it is just quantum damage, which a character does anyway. But I think this is also a very valuable thing though, because this basically buffs all characters in your team by 10%. So it's not 10% base stats, but the all-type resistance means that the overall resistance, so that means every damage can come through, and we have a 10% buff here for another 2 turns. So basically everything in her E skill works for 2 turns. I'll go over this again and talk about what are my problems with this skill, but let's go to the ultimate skill first. So there is a 103% base chance to decrease the target's enemy by 47% for 3 turns. I think this is a very good skill, a very good ultimate skill, because it lasts for 3 turns and it is a 47% damage rate. This is really, really good. And at the same time, it deals quantum damage equal to 410%. I think this is also a very good multiplier. I didn't check her stats though. Yeah, well, we don't want to do this in this, because I still think the damage is not that important, or not the reason why you want to pull for her, even though she can do good damage. Also, it has 110 energy. Yeah. I think there's nothing really to say about the ultimate skill. I think the ultimate skill is a very solid skill. We have a very good chance to hit it. Basically, this will hit every time though. And the enemy defense also gets shredded by 47%. So this will be a buff that is very good. Now, other things is also this, the awaiting system response. So basically, she can create 3 type of bugs as we're attacking. She either can apply one of these 3, so reduce the attack, reduce the defense, or reduce the speed up to 11, 9% for defense, 7% for speed. And yeah, every time Silverwolf attacks, she has a 74% base chance to plant a random bug that lasts for 3 turns in the enemy target. So this is also really, really good though, but it is kind of RNG relied, because 74%. It's I think okay. So most of the time you will apply one of these buffs, and they also last for 3 turns. So as you attack 2 times in 2 turns, you have 2 buffs alive at least. And I also do really like her skill. Immediately attacks the enemy after entering the battle, deals quantum damage equal to 80% of Silverwolf's attack to all enemies, and ignores weakness types and reduces toughness from all enemies. This is really good because it ignores the weakness types and it reduces the toughness from all enemies. And as the weakness is broken in this way, this will trigger the quantum weakness break effect. Okay, so let's go over her trace. No, I will go over traces after I talked about the criticism, or about my criticism about the elemental skill. My problem is not this, and it's also not this, and it's also not this. My only problem is basically this. It only lasts for 2 turns. This is, I think, the biggest weakness. So I can live with not always hitting the skill, because I think it has to be something to make the skill a little bit fair, because I think this is one of the most broken skill, or most valuable skills, or I wouldn't say broken. I think it's more like valuable in terms of your team comps, because this opens up a lot of new team comps, because adding a weakness makes basically every element viable for yourself, for your team. The only thing is that you have to get through the RNG layer of applying the right element though. I think this is the problem that I currently still have with Silverwolf, because the most value is if you use at least 2 quantum characters, because then you can apply her skill for at least 50% though, which is a 50-50. I think I can live with hitting a 50-50 though, but I don't really like having I like having characters with different roles, and we do currently we do not have characters with different roles for one element. So for example, for quantum, I'd like to have a buffer, a nihility character, a tank, a destruction character, a hunt character. If it would be like that, then it would change my mind to Silverwolf completely, because then I can run the mono quantum team. But as of right now, we basically only can pair Silverwolf either with Qingque, the free-to-play 4-star character, or with Sealy, which I don't own because I skipped that character. Yeah. Next is I mean, there was one problem, but I said the 2-turn problem is my problem, because you try to apply the weakness though. Let's say you hit the right weakness, and then you only have 2 turns, because the next turn the buff expires, and then if you don't want to use your skill again, you will have to let's say you use a skill, you apply the right element, you do an auto attack, then the buff expires. Next time, the 3rd round basically, after this expires, you want to use the E skill again, but then you didn't apply the right weakness to the enemy, because then, I don't know, for the same example, 2 quantum, 1 fire, 1 ice character, you applied quantum for the first half, which was the weakness that you wanted. After the turn expires, you do the skill again, you want to and then you apply fire, which is basically your trailblazer, for example. Then he won't have that value, because you don't want to have the weakness of the trailblazer, because he's not there for doing damage. This is like the kind of problem that I have, because it only lasts for 2 turns. But as I said, we want to talk about the traces real soon. That will fix a little bit of the problem though. But let's say it will stay here. Then basically how I would use her is I would use her E skill every turn to extend this for at least 1 more turn to have the right weakness every time. So I'll basically use the skill every turn, which means that she is very skill point inefficient though. I really like skill point efficient characters, because skill point is something of the most, I don't know, not complicated, but it is one of the most fun thing for me if you really want to manage with your skill points though. This is something that I really enjoy in this game. Now, next thing, basically, no. I mean, that this only lasts for 2 turns is fine, because it is an all-type resistance. This is a consistent buff that always lasts. So basically, the only problem that I have is that this only lasts for 2 turns. But let's go back to the traces that she has. Now, she can extend the duration of this one for 1 more turn, but I don't have a problem of this, because this already lasts for 3 turns. Because I think 3 turns is a very good number, because that gives you at least 1 more turn to do an auto attack to get back 1 skill point at least. But this always gets applied randomly, whether you do a skill point or whether you do an auto attack. As soon as Silverwolves attack, you have the 74% chance to apply one of these 3 buffs. And you can extend this for 1 more turn as soon as you unlock A2, which is basically guaranteed in the end game. Every time an enemy is inflicted with weakness break, Silverwolf has a 65% chance of implanting a random bug in the enemy. So this is additionally, so you basically, I think you basically can apply 2 bugs of the awaiting system response. So let's say you attack, and if you attack and break the weakness, then you have a 65% chance to apply 1 more, which is 2 more with 1 attack. This is a really, really good trace in my opinion. But the best thing is, this does 2 things with 1 trace. It extends the bug's duration for 1 turn, so basically this is always 4. Which makes it easier for you to keep 3 different bugs at the same time. And this has the layer of applying 2 bugs basically at the same time as you break the weakness. I really like this. Now, this is the one that fixes the skill for me. Kinda though, kinda. So, the duration of the weakness implanted by Silverwolf skill increases by 1 turn. So that makes this to 3 turns, which is a lot better for me though. So now you can use your E skill. Next turn you can use your ultimate, no, not your ultimate skill, because ultimate skill doesn't take a turn. You use your E skill, and you can do an auto attack, and then you can use your E skill again to extend the same weakness that you already wanted to do. Still though, I still think she is very skill point inefficient, because you have to get through some RNG layers. As I said, you have to hit the right weakness, basically the weakness of your damage dealer though. This is the one that you really want to have. But besides that, even though if you don't hit that, you still get the all-type resistance buff. You still have her ultimate skill, which is a defense shredding attack for 3 turns. And basically most units have their ultimate skills back after 4 turns. And if you have some energy recharge, or if there are some units in your game that in your team that regains energy, then you will have this back after 3 turns. So basically after this expires, in that same turn you will have the ultimate skill again. This is something that I really like though. Also, it has a very high multiplier. This is also really good. So overall, I still think she is an insanely good unit, but as soon as you unlock A4, you have the free duration skill, which kind of fixes of me. And having this makes this 3 turns is making me thinking again of summoning for that character, honestly though. Because I don't want to use leaks in my videos though, but I was reading this and I said 2 turns. No, 2 turns would be a downer for me. That would be a reason not to summon for the character, because I don't think this is good enough for me. But as I saw this kind of fixes the problem. 3 turns is really good. Then let's go over the last trace. If there are 3 or more debuffs affecting the enemy when the skill is used, then the skill decreases the enemy's all-type resistance by an additional 3%. So basically, if we have all 3 of this, so we have 1, 2, 3 debuffs here, 1 here, 1 here. So this is 5, 6. We basically only have to apply 3 of this, and we get 3% to this, which is 13%, which is also really good. I think this, I don't know if 3% makes up that much. Also, it is at A6. But still kind of good. I think the best of her traces is definitely this one, because it does 2 things with 1 trace. Then I think this is important to make this work. And yeah, no, this one is, I think, kind of okay-ish though. I can live with that. So yeah, that's like my overview about Silverwolf. It was very theoretical though, because I'm still debating whether I want to summon for the character or not. The video is again 20 minutes long, so I will put some timestamps in the video down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you did summon for Silverwolf or not. I'm still debating, so if I do, I will definitely do a summon video in form of YouTube Shorts or a official YouTube video. You will see that on the channel though, and yeah, subscribe to the channel, and I see you guys next time. Bye.